Most people's candle actually looks pretty good at first, but then you light it and it tunnels, barely smells, or burns out way too fast. And that's usually the moment people think they're not cut out for candle making, that it's too hard. But the truth is, it's not that hard. It's that no one really explains what actually matters when you're making a candle. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the full process and show you exactly what causes candles to fail and how to fix it so yours actually works. Let's start out with the biggest mistake that almost everyone makes. Wick size. Your wick controls pretty much everything in your candle. It controls how it burns, how much wax melts, and even how strong your scent is. And this is where most beginners get it wrong because they just guess on the candle wick size. Instead, here's what you want to do. Go ahead and grab the container that you'll be using. We are going to measure straight across the top of the container, and that is going to be your diameter. So my diameter is about 3.25 inches. Now we're going to choose a wick that's rated for that container size. I am using a CD10 wick that's rated for candles that have a 3 to 3.25 diameter, which is absolutely perfect for this jar. What's happening here is your wick is controlling how much wax melts at a time. So if your wick is too small, it can't melt enough of the wax to reach the edges, and that's what causes tunneling. If your wick is too big, it's going to melt too much too fast, and you're going to get a big flame, maybe some smoke, and not a good scent throw at all. So before anything else, you have to get this part right. Now, even if you do this perfectly, you get the perfect wick, your candle can still fail. So let's go to the next part. And that's determining how much wax you're going to need. A lot of beginners just guess at how much wax they need, and that usually leads to either overfilling, underfilling, or wasting your candle wax. Instead, do this one thing and you're never going to have to guess again. We're going to start out with our scale. Place your container on there and push the tare button. This is going to give you a 0 while your container's on it. We're going to fill our container to the spot where you want your wax to be with water. And we're going to weigh it. So now we're going to take the weight of the water, which mine is 167 grams, and we multiply it by 0.86. That's going to give you the exact amount of soy wax that you're going to need for your candle. So we need 144 grams of soy wax for this candle. And this small step makes everything easier because now you're starting out with the right amount from the beginning. Wick placement. Next, you secure your wick. I personally like to use a glue gun. I find it to be the easiest, especially when you're first starting out, but you certainly can use the wick tabs if you prefer. For the glue gun, we just put a small amount on the bottom of the wick, and we're going to press it to the center of the candle. Try to get it as centered as possible, because even being slightly off can affect how your candle burns. Now the most important part, fragrance. If you ever made a candle that smells really strong, but then you light it and you can't smell it at all, this is why. It's because of the fragrance. So we actually have two things that work here. We have fragrance load and we have temperature. So what the fragrance load is it's the amount of fragrance that we use compared to the amount of wax we use. Now, most soy wax is going to work best between 6 and 10%. A really good starting point is around 8%. So I'm going to use 12 grams of fragrance oil, which is about 8%. So when you get frustrated because everything seems right and then you light your candle and the scent isn't there, it's not the fragrance oil. It's how the wax handles the fragrance oil, which brings us to overheating your wax. overheating your wax. One thing that can affect your candle before you even add your fragrance oil is overheating your wax. If you overheat your wax, it can actually affect the fragrance oil scent, even if you wait until the perfect temperature to add your fragrance oil. For soy wax, we heat it up to between 170 and 185 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see here, I'm at 178 degrees Fahrenheit. My soy wax is melted, so we're going to go ahead and remove it from the heat. Fragrance oil temperature. Now, when you add your fragrance oil, temperature matters a lot. You want to add it between 160 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Too hot, and the fragrance oil can start to burn off. Too cool, and it won't bind properly to the wax. Now, once you add it, you're going to mix it for a full 1 to 2 minutes. And I mean mix, not a quick stir. Because this is what's going to give you a strong scent when burning. You need everything to really bind together. Now, when adding your color, I have a quick tip for you. So it is very difficult to figure out what color your final candle is going to be, right? Because while it's hot, it's always going to look darker than it actually is. So what you do is take a small drop and place it on a paper towel. It cools instantly and shows you the true final color of your candle. After we have our fragrance oil and the color, we want to allow our wax to cool slightly before pouring. Pouring your candle. After that, we want the wax to cool slightly before pouring. You're aiming for 120 to 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now, I'm at 123 degrees Fahrenheit. If you pour it too hot, you're going to get sinkholes. If you pour it too cold, it's probably not going to adhere to the container very well and you're going to get frosting. Now, when I pour my candle, I keep it really close to the container and I pour it very slowly. And we want to make sure that we keep our wick center. So go ahead and just center your wick, curing your candle. Now, once your candle is poured, this is the part that most people want to skip, and that's curing. For soy wax, you want to leave your candle to cure for 7 to 14 days. And I know it's hard. You just made this candle, you're so excited, and you want to light it immediately. But trust me, waiting and allowing your candle to cure makes a huge difference. So the reason why we have to leave it to cure is it allows the fragrance oil and the soy wax to fully bind together. It's actually going to affect your scent throw. Now, after your candle's cured, this part is so very important, and that is the first burn. So many people mess up the first burn. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by trimming our wick to about 1/4 of an inch and lighting our candle. You want the candle to burn long enough for the wax to be melted all the way to the edges. Now, this usually takes about 1 hour per inch of diameter. If you don't wait for your wax to melt all the way to the edges, even if you made a perfect candle, it's going to tunnel. And most people don't realize that there is a right way and a wrong way to burn candles. Now, here's the thing that most people don't realize. Even experienced candle makers don't get it right every time. The biggest thing that you want to do is you want to make slow changes. So if you're changing the fragrance oil, or if you're changing the wick, or if you're changing the container, we change one thing at a time and we test it. Now that you know all of the steps on how to make a candle, you'll know exactly where you went wrong previously. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy making and using your candles as much as I did. If you haven't done so already, be sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. I also post a link to my blog on summerrain.website where I have more details in there. Kind of hard to believe because I go over so much in this video, but there is even more over there on summerrain.website.